Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
The biggest sale of the year is happening right now during Happy Honda Days at Team Honda. For a limited time, make no payments for 90 days on every new Honda. That's right, you choose and make no payments for 90 days at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda on Segan Lane.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
As we start the Tuesday edition of the Clarence Bug Show, here's hoping all is well with you and yours and your little slice of South Louisiana heaven since last weekend, where we had the opportunity to spend a little time with you and yours. We start today's show with Louisiana news and confirmation of a very troubling trend. We've known for quite some time now that here in the great state of Louisiana, we have more than our fair share of individuals that are willing to take advantage of juveniles sexually. 3 instances in the news today. Starting in Ascension Parish, a custodian at Dutchtown High School arrested on Monday for an inappropriate relationship with a student. According to the sheriff's office in Ascension Parish, 23-year-old Daquan Bullock of White Castle was sexting, sending sexually oriented text messages to a 16-year-old student at the school. Allegedly, the pair were messaging for several weeks, exchanged inappropriate pictures with one another, and allegedly had sex at least once during that time. Belloc was arrested and booked with carnal knowledge of a juvenile and indecent behavior with the juvenile as well. It is to be noted, however, school officials with Ascension Parish say that he was a contract custodial worker at Dutchtown and was not directly employed with the school itself. Meanwhile, in Morgan City, Louisiana, a man arrested, indicted on 7 counts of first-degree rape. According to the Morgan City Police Department, 52-year-old John L. Thomas was arrested on 2 counts of first-degree rape, 5 counts of oral sexual battery, 5 counts of indecent behavior with juveniles, and 15 counts of aggravated crime against nature as a result of the investigation. He has had his bond set at $2.5 million. As troubling as those 2 instances are, there's yet another. This one out of Tangipahoa Parish. Sheriff's deputies are looking for 36-year-old Rigoberto Servin, charged with the alleged first-degree rape of a victim under the age of 13. You've heard me say countless times that a former pastor of mine was fond of saying, you can tell a lot about a society, about how it treats its children and its elderly. This is a problem of monumental magnitude. And while, yes, it is an indictment of the individuals that allegedly carried out these crimes, it is also an indictment of our state in that we are nowhere near doing as much as we can to stop the exploitation of our children by these demented adults. And of course, we have seen in recent memory more and more criminal activity from our juveniles here in Louisiana. Now, to be clear, this is not something exclusive to Louisiana. It is all across the country. If you keep abreast of these things, you've noticed a very alarming trend. The ages of juvenile offenders getting lower and lower and lower. Just in Baton Rouge, last week, in broad daylight, a 70-year-old woman carjacked right on the outskirts of Spanish Town, the Spanish Town neighborhood, right around the Capitol. Ironically, law enforcement announcing their subsequent investigation led to the arrest of two 14-year-olds. Broad daylight, brandishing a weapon, stealing the car from a 70-year-old woman. Now, while the juveniles carried out this horrific act, and thank God the 70-year-old female that was the victim was not harmed, while it says a lot about these two 14-year-olds, to me, it says more about the parenting. At the end of the day, you would think a civilized society would come to the realization that being your child's friend is not the answer. Be a parent, for God's sake. And if you consider yourself being a good parent and your 14-year-old in broad daylight is brandishing a gun, and conventional wisdom says if they find the weapon, it's probably going to be stolen. If your child at 14 has a stolen firearm and is engaging in carjacking senior citizens, that's your failure. That is a failure of parenting. Pure and simple. No two ways about it. And I understand the popular thing these days is to blame everybody else. Racism, white people, the government, you name it. Go down that long list of people, things, and entities that we love to blame for all of society's problems. This one comes right back to parenting, pure and simple. If you want proof of it, look at baby boomers. Back when I was 14, like these two miscreants, there were far fewer laws dealing with juveniles and criminal offenses. Why? Because we didn't need them. Why? Because we had real parents. End of discussion. Pure and simple. Back then, you were scared to death to be engaged in criminal behavior. not because of the police, but because of your parents. Pure and simple. It served us extremely well for decade upon decade upon decade. Now, all of a sudden, we find ourselves in a situation where it's not really that big a surprise anymore when you find a 13-year-old, a 14-year-old, 15 years old, robbing, raping, murdering. Our kids are speaking to us, y'all. And every passing day, it becomes more and more obvious that we're not listening. This does not bode well for our future as a country and as a society. When the future leaders of our country and our species are conducting themselves in this manner, God help us in the future, y'all. God help us. Parents, time to be parents again. Put that "I want to be my child's friend" foolishness in the garbage can and wake up to the reality that is staring us in our collective faces. It's not that hard to see. It truly isn't. We're heading into the first break of today's show. It is Tuesday, second segment, and that means when we come back, it is time for another edition of Now That's Just Stupid. But believe it or not, we've got one that has elevated itself to the number one all time. Now that's just stupid. As a matter of fact, this one is so egregious that we're going to have to give it a segment by itself. So stick around for Now That's Just Stupid. But boy, the segment that will follow after that, aside from being stupid, I would probably categorize it as despicable, embarrassing, borderline criminal, / you get the government that you vote for. That's next, after break number one of the Tuesday edition of the Clarence Bug Show, right where you've got it, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Hey everybody, I'm Kevin Gallagher. This is Roy Fletcher. We hope you'll join us for Fletch Nation, especially if you like talking politics.
Hey, come and join us. We'll give you the information, and then we'll give you the context. And by the way, we'll give you fun too.
Lots of fun. We hit the local races, the state. We even look at what's going on all across America. And by the way, this space is available. If you'd like to talk about advertising, send your emails to Roy Fletcher at royfletcher.com and join us every week here on the Pelican for Fletch Nation.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
The season of inspiration is the perfect time to discover the enhanced Mazda CX-5, named a 2022 IIHS Safety Pick Plus Award winner, its highest safety award honor. Choose from over 45 CX-5s available at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
Hi, gang. Clarence Bugs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Bugs Show.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Edition of the Clarence Bugs Show. It is the second segment of the Tuesday show, which means it is time for a segment that has kind of taken on a life of its own. It is entitled, now that's just stupid. You'll notice, however, that we're not talking STUPID as the graphic shows you. The level of stupid we're talking about here requires its own spelling, as in STOOPID. Hence, now that's just stupid. We start, surprise, surprise, with the Biden-Harris administration. Have you been keeping an eye on gas prices at the pump lately? If so, you are probably painfully aware that they are going back up once again. Now, typically, this sort of thing is cyclical, meaning it runs in cycles. The summer blend of gasoline typically is more expensive. And forecasters are saying, yeah, by spring, we're going to probably be paying $4 or more a gallon again. So the Biden-Harris administration announcing this week that they are going to sell another 26 million barrels from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Now, you know what this is about, right? Joe Biden in fantasy land thinking about running for president again. And if gas prices do like gas prices have done under his watch, go through the roof again, his chances, you can pretty much flush them. So, in releasing this 26 million barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, we are now, after this latest release, at the lowest level of our Strategic Petroleum Reserve in 40 years. In 2 years, y'all, this guy comes into office And as if it weren't enough that our southern border is being overrun, security at an all-time low, our airspace being invaded regularly by balloons, aliens, which they haven't ruled out just yet. We'll talk about that later in the show. But now we find out our strategic petroleum reserves are at the lowest they've been in 40 years. All primarily because of politics. Here's a thought, Joe Biden. Instead of knocking down our strategic petroleum reserves to the lowest level in 40 years, how about, I don't know, maybe drilling more? You do realize that the Strategic Petroleum Reserve is in case there is some natural disaster, in the event of war, whatever, we have enough petroleum reserved to get us through. You realize where this puts us? In all of this, in 2 years. Of course, now, if you ask Joe Biden and the Democrats, they would probably say it's sound financial thinking. If you were to ask me, I'd tell you it's just flat out stupid. Secondly, Marty, how many times, and I know you got it down by now, have you heard me say, don't listen to what they say, watch what they do. The whole defund the police movement picked up steam all across the country in the wake of the George Floyd incident. Remember that? One of the people in the granola state, California, is Los Angeles councilman Soto Martinez was leading the charge to defund the police. Well, last week, they found out that his Lexus had broken down on side of the road. So what did one of his assistants in his office do? You know where this is going, right? Called the police and asked if they would be so kind as to increase the patrols in the area where the car was so that nothing would happen to his Lexus. You see how they play you? Whatever's politically expedient to say at the time, if you think it'll get you votes, say it. Defund the police. Unless, of course, it's you that needs help from the police. It is so amazing to me how, if you ask most people that are most impacted by crime, whether they want fewer police or more police, overwhelmingly, resoundingly, they'll tell you, we need more police in our community. But here you have yahoos like this clown leading the charge to defund the police. Well, except for when my Lexus breaks down on the side of the road. Finally, speaking of liberal places, I like to consider myself a fairly level-headed guy. And as a guy that grew up in a military household, I have a particular affinity for God, country, the military, and law enforcement. But I got to be honest with you guys and girls. If this were me, I would probably be on the Clarence Bug Show. Rochester, Minnesota. A man there arrested, put on trial, and convicted of raping a 9-year-old girl and another girl estimated to be between 4 and 5 years old. Multiple times, by the way. After being convicted, he was then sentenced. 20-year-old Mohammed Bakari Shea then went to be sentenced after being found guilty of raping on multiple occasions a 9-year-old girl and another young girl estimated to be between 4 and 5 years of age. His sentence, 180 days in jail. You heard me right. 6 months in jail. Oh, but they did give him 30 years probation. Three different felony first-degree criminal conduct charges in 2 separate cases. And he gets 6 months in jail, 30 years probation, and does not have to register as a sex offender. Now, y'all know me. I am never one to call for violence against another individual. But I'm just going to be brutally honest with y'all. If that was my 9-year-old daughter or my 4-year-old daughter, 6 months in prison would be the least of his worries. I'm just telling you like it is, y'all. To have faith in the judicial system. This guy rapes a 9-year-old girl and a 4-year-old. And they give him 6 months in jail? Y'all forgive me for saying it this way, but it is what it is. Knowing how they view child rapists in prison, that 6 months is going to be the longest 6 months of his life, and rightfully so. Just saying. Bottom of the hour break. When we come back, embarrassing, disgusting, borderline criminal, / you get the government that you vote for. That's next. You're not going to want to miss this one when we continue the Tuesday edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
You could be driving. Now's the time to save on new Accords during Happy Honda Days at Team Honda of Acadiana. Get our lowest prices and biggest savings on our largest selection of Accords this year. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Team Honda of Acadiana, I-49 just south of Opelousas.
Hi, I'm Katie, Operation Manager here at Old School Barbecue. We're excited about all of the changes here at Old School, and we'd like to invite everyone to come out and enjoy some delicious barbecue at Old School prices. We feature brisket, chicken, ribs, sausage, and the Boss Hog pulled pork sandwich voted best deal in town. We also have live music Friday and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. 10655 Coursey Boulevard. We can't wait to see you.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Caught spiders?
Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to the Tuesday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. This story is so disturbing and telling all at the same time that it blows your mind. The city of Baltimore, Maryland, fourth largest city by population in the mid-Atlantic region of our country. Baltimore, if you've been keeping up with the news in recent memory, has more than its fair share of problems. For as long as I can remember in recent memory, Baltimore has perennially been battling for the title of the most dangerous city in America. Homicides there totally out of control. Like many other cities across our country, crime out of control, drug abuse, overdose deaths out of control. But last week, the city of Baltimore found out it has another major problem. In education circles, proficiency is what we use to gauge how we're educating our children. For example, if you're in third grade, you're expected to be proficient in reading, math, etc. Meaning, third graders should be able to do math at this level, third grade level. Fourth graders should be able to do math at a fourth grade level. Fifth graders, same thing. And on and on. Sixth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade, etc., etc. That is how we gauge progress and how effective we are at educating our children. In Baltimore, Maryland, it was revealed that there are 23 schools where not a single child can do math at grade level. Not one class, not one graduating class, an entire school. No one in the entire school can do math at grade level. There are 23 schools. And believe it or not, it gets worse. Last year in Baltimore, 41% of public school students had a grade point average of less than 1. That's a D minus. 41% of the students in public schools in Baltimore had a D minus average. So just on a whim, and I already knew the answer, but just so that I would have some numbers for you, I said, let me look up the demographics of Baltimore. 61% African American. Then on another whim, I said, I'm going to do something I don't ever do. I want to get a liberal look at Baltimore. So I went to, don't pass out, Wikipedia. Wikipedia, one of the most well-known and most liberal outlets out there, said the following about Baltimore. After I looked up the demographics, there's a tab there on Wikipedia entitled Politics and Government. Here's what Wikipedia says about Baltimore, Maryland, and I quote, Baltimore has been a Democratic stronghold for over 150 years, with Democrats dominating every level of government. In virtually all elections, the Democratic primary is the real contest, meaning the only question we have is which Democrat are we going to elect? As of 2020 elections, registered Democrats in Baltimore outnumbered Republicans by at least 10 to 1. No Republican has been elected to the city council since 1939. No Republican candidate has received 25% or more of the vote. The last Republican candidate for president to win the city of Baltimore was Dwight Eisenhower back in 1956. Do you realize what this says, y'all? In the city of Baltimore, for the last 150 years, Democrats have controlled everything. Mayor's office, city council, school board, police chief, all the way across the board. And what do the 61% of black people in that city have to show for it? One of the most dangerous cities in America, overdose deaths through the roof. And now you find out you have 23 schools in your city where not a single child can perform math at grade level. And it gets even better. Last year, the budget for public schools in Baltimore was $1.6 billion. It comes out to over $21,000 per student. Still voting Democrat, are you? What do you get to show for it? $21,000 per student, and 41% of them had a D- GPA. What's really telling? Conservatives are the ones that believe in school choice. If you're paying taxes, government is spending $21,000, as is the case in Baltimore, on your child. You should be able to take that money and put your child in a better school. That's what conservatives say. Liberals say, well, let's spend more money. Sadly, this is not just in Baltimore, y'all. This is all across the country. And speaking of conservatives and liberals, in Baltimore, 41% of public school students have less than a D as their GPA. But liberals want to spend more time and more money telling little Johnny that he can be little Susie. Liberals, while your kid has a D- grade point average, want to spend more time and more money teaching CRT. You get, truly, you do, you get the government you vote for. 150 years, Democrats have controlled every single thing in Baltimore, Maryland. And look at them now. Murder capital of North America. Opioid deaths through the roof. And 23 schools where not one kid in the entire student body is proficient at math. Not excelling, just proficient, what they should be able to do. I'm not a betting man, but I'll bet you $10 to a donut. Next election, they're going to still vote Democrat. Who's the real dummy? Just a question. Final break of today's show. Come back, put that big old pretty bow on this puppy, and we wrap up the Tuesday edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonecountryClub.com.
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Welcome back to the final segment of today's edition of the Clarence Buck Show. I have been keeping an eye, and I apologize if it's been somewhat distracting. I tried not to do it during the show itself, primarily during commercial breaks. Keeping an eye on one of the many televisions that we have in Old School Barbecue to be sure that one of two things has not happened while talking with you. One, want to be sure that there are no missiles flying over Baton Rouge to shoot down the latest mysterious balloon flying. And two, to make sure that the Biden-Harris administration has not come out just yet and confirmed that these were alien spacecraft they shot down. Have you been keeping up with this foolishness? Did you see this weekend where, after the Biden-Harris administration continues to stonewall telling the American public exactly what these things are that they've been shooting down willy-nilly since the first one, the general was asked, can you confirm that these were not UFOs? His response, well, I'm not ruling out anything at this point. I keep thinking back to the mantra that the Democrats used after Joe Biden was elected, saying, The adults are back in charge. Huh. Let me ask you, do you feel like there are adults running our country? When it comes to crime, knowing how many cities are experiencing record homicide rates, do you feel like there are adults running the show? When you look at our southern border and the millions of people invading our country, do you feel like the adults are in charge? Marty said, yeah, the clown adults. When you look up and we are now shooting down objects invading our sovereign airspace just about every single day, do you feel like the adults are in charge? Especially when they come to you and tell you, well, we're not ruling out aliens. These are the adults. Even scarier still, we still got 2 more years of this crap, y'all. 2 more years. Think back, and obviously for some of us it will be much longer than others. But in your lifetime, do you remember in the span of 2 short years, darn near the entire country going to hell? We talked last week about how Americans, particularly lower income Americans, feel about the policies coming out of Washington, and particularly the White House, and how it is affecting their wallets. Now, a lot of y'all, liberals / Democrats, don't forget the progressives, a lot of y'all would be tempted to say, well, when Trump was in office, things were bad. Same poll from the Gallup polling organization. When Trump was running the show, only 20% of us said the policies coming out of Washington and the White House are killing my wallet. 2 years later, under Joe Biden, 61% say, man, these policies are killing my wallet. But the good news is the adults are back in charge. You know, as an American, and particularly as an American of color, someone who understands the sacrifices that were made on my behalf so that I could vote, so that I could own a business, so that I could run for office, so that I would have all the rights that every other American has. This is particularly painful for me. Understanding that there are many places on this planet that cannot begin to claim the freedoms and liberties that we enjoy. And to watch it with ever increasing speed circle the toilet on the way to being flushed is not something that I take lightly. Our country's in trouble, y'all. And sadly, if you talk to the folks in the White House, they don't get it. They will tell you all kinds of foolishness to make you believe that the suffering you're going through, your neighbors are going through, your coworkers are going through, your fellow Americans are going through? It's not really that big a deal. When you point out to them, well, I beg to differ, because recent polls say over 70% of us, working, everyday Americans, feel like our country's headed in the wrong direction. They'll tell you, as Joe Biden did just last week, well, the polls don't really matter anymore. Huh. If I didn't know any better, I would think that they're telling you, shut the hell up. We're in charge. And things are what we say they are. Pay no attention to the millions of people illegally coming across our border and setting up shop. Pay no attention to the record number of our fellow Americans that died last year from a fentanyl overdose. Pay no attention at all to the supply chain crisis when you go to the store and half the shelves are empty. Pay no attention to the gas prices that are ratcheting right back up while our strategic petroleum reserve is at the lowest level it's been in 40 years. Pay no attention to the fact that the mainstream media and the Biden White House lied to your face when they told you, well, a Hunter Biden laptop story, that's Russian disinformation. Pay no attention to all these things. In other words, are you going to believe me or your lying life? And they'll have you believe that 81 million of you voted for this. Wink, wink. My time's up, y'all, and I gotta go. But you already know the drill. That's right. This day, maybe more so than any other day in history, I give it to you. You know what? You are 100% correct. America, we're not perfect. But for this old boy's money, it's the best there is, and God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you realize he loves you, right? And I hope you know that I do too. Either way, there ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. We'll see you soon. God bless.